Hey guys, welcome back. This is Pete Dahlgren building the Mere Smiles F86. Boy, I got a mess going on in here, but I want to show you what I'm doing. I actually sheeted this top wing on the right side. It went from that, which is pretty cool. Never mind the fly strip. But anyway, I want to explain how I did this and give you guys a little bit of a tour on how I actually sheet my wings. A lot of guys have asked me about this because I do them a little different than some others. It's not really a rocket science, but I learned this from watching. I actually learned this method from watching guys like Bob Rice and other people that have actually been a pretty big influence on my building experiences. But anyway, what I want to explain to you guys, when you build your sheeting like this, it's very important that you don't try to, there's a key to success for building an extremely strong wing, and that is going to be simple. And that is, you want to take your leading edges and you want to butt those up as much as you can to get as much of a long shot as you possibly can on your leading edge. And then you go from the second, a full sheet, which is 3 by 3/32 by 36 inches long, or 32, I don't know what they are. Anyway, the one thing is that is very important is that you actually have to stagger these joints. So when you get one full one, you want to put one right in the center. Wherever it winds up in there is where it's going to be, but you want to make sure that this looks like a hardwood floor. You're going to put another full sheet all the way as far as you can get it, and you want to make sure that none of these joints are in a line with each other. You want to make sure that these like stairs, okay? And if you have one and you get towards this end, you want to make sure that you have all of these joints in there actually a long ways, as far apart as you can. You want to make sure that you have one filler that goes way beyond it. And you want to make sure that if you have a short piece that you're doing one long piece in here to actually counteract the effect of this. You don't want anything in a straight line. And in your tail sections, which are actually very important, you want to make sure that the whole sheets and not just piece together short pieces. You want them long. So you're going to burn up 10 sheets doing the top piece of this wing. Okay. When you get this done, you're going to glue these, and I use a hinging method. I just take and I tape them together, and then I actually will glue them, press them down, and then when they're all done, and you have one big piece, I trace out the outline, leaving a quarter of an inch all the way around everything, leaving it wild. You want to make sure that you have something over on the edge to sand down and trim off. Same with the leading edge. Don't try to keep it straight. Keep it over what you're doing. Now, when you do this and you actually get it to that point, you want a lot of clamps. I like to pin this, and I've already clamped it down and let it cure for about 3 hours. I put tape on the edges to make sure they stay down, and I clamp and I do anything to equalize that pressure out. You want to put a piece of wood on here, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure to put it down, but this keeps it even through in here. And the result is that when you actually can turn the wing over after it's cured for a little while, is that you can come back in here. That was a clamp that popped. Anyway, you can come back, glue this. Now I've already done this. And this is the way I actually do a lot of this stuff on here. And you want to make sure that you got a good glue fillet all the way, because the top wing surface is the strongest part of that wing, and you got to absolutely make sure that it fits, no gaps, nothing is in there. So I use a syringe. I talk about these all the time. You can get them at any hospital or, well, any hobby shop. They're monojack. They're just a little deal, and you cut the tip to the size of the bead you want. Don't go too crazy with it, but make sure you got a glue fillet that looks like that. and you want to make sure that you have glued your spars. When done and they actually start to soak in, they look like that. And so, and then I go through any of these gaps I see, I'll just take and run a bead over it and run my finger over it to make sure that the glue is actually through it. This glue, I'm using Titebond 2 for this part because it dries a lot slower. The main thing about glue is, you know, Gorilla Glue is awesome stuff and this and that, but they didn't have any. So I went with Titebond until they got more in. Titebond 2 works real good, but it's really important that you get water resistant and interior exterior grade. It sets up extremely fast, but you don't want something so fast you can't work with it. And you want to make sure that when you're doing this, that you're putting an even bead all over these ribs and everything else. Now, once this is done, I can start putting in other pieces and parts like that, like the landing gear blocks and all that. But it's very important that you build this on the jig. And I use a bunch of bottles. I use old whiskey bottles, whatever bottles I can get, and I fill them full of water, and I hold the wing down so that all of these legs are completely flat. I build my wings on the floor for a reason, guys, and it's because I know that floor is absolutely perfectly flat, and there's no chance that it's going to do anything crazy. And I got stuff under here that I need to get out, and you want to leave these things clamped down for as long as it's needed, and once it sets, it doesn't let go. As long as you got it in there for about an hour, you're good. But you want to have something that equalizes pressure like so. One-handed bandit here, that's fine, that'll work. Anyway, I use tape on anything that I can use because I know it's going to stick, it's going to hold until I remove it. I don't like to put a lot of pins in things, but I did on the leading edge because I found it to be absolutely necessary here to pin it quite a bit. They're easily filled, no problem. Nothing wrong with using pins. I mean, don't even, if you want to pin the whole thing, it's fine. But putting a plank, like, if you take any kind of wood, like 2 of these, and you put them on there, while that glue is sitting, as you can see, I got no rocking. You put this on there with about 3 bottles, wine bottle size, full of water. Water weighs about 8 pounds a gallon. So you can use shot bags, you can use anything you want, but I prefer to put bottles. I have a bunch of them, that old whiskey bottles, whatever, from the Party and Pass. I just think they're cool. And what I do is I put them anywhere random to make sure that the legs are done and I've got no hot spots. So anyway, thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. And anyway, I sold an airplane, a real one. And so I'm in a pretty damn good mood right now. Just so everybody knows, a lot of people that know me on Facebook, I had some property stolen, and unfortunately I had to sell one of my real airplanes in order to get the legal fees together. Got it, and we got this done. And big congratulations to Pat Rupert for buying the Wandering Winch, which we did not want to sell. But sometimes you just got to say what the hell, and do it. And, we're not hurting financially, but it's so screwed up that, when you got to let go of stuff because of somebody else's dishonesty. So anyway, we did the deed, and that's where we're at on that. Get my Harley and 182 back, and then we're good on all that. And if anybody wants to buy a 97 Harley Davidson FLHT, I'll have one for sale for about $6,000 here very soon. And it's no big secret that me and the girl are getting things rocking and rolling, and we're gonna give her everything the old college try and just give it up. So anyway, I think one of the biggest things is I'm going to take my building of these things a lot more serious now, and we're going to start doing some really cool things. And After this airplane is completed, it will be up for sale to pay for the next series. And, it's just not that it's not anything about the airplane I don't like, but I love to build. I've always been more or less a builder. And as for flying a jet, don't really know too much about it, but you know what? It's going to be a beautiful airplane when we get done with it. And it will go to fund the next build series, which is going to be another Mirus airplane. And it'll probably be the F-100, if not the bigger one. So anyway, we're going to continue to build, guys. It's not this or that. It's just, we're going to build things to completion, and we're going to kick some butt, and we're going to build some beautiful airplanes in the near future. We are going to be building the FW-190 in actually quite possibly a quarter scale as well, because I like building big airplanes and air blasts. So, and if you guys have a request for anything to be built, let me know. I will accommodate any suggestions, and even if you want an airplane built, I can do that. And I am not against that, and I will actually video the build as we're doing here. So you guys have been just freaking amazing, and I love all of you. And it's just, I'm going to continue to do some really cool stuff. So anyway, you guys keep it safe. And if I don't see you again before Christmas, Merry Christmas to all of you and all over the world. I mean, it's customary for us in the United States to say Merry Christmas, even though we got a really screwed up society. I'm one of those people that absolutely love God, but I do not follow religions. I find them to be I've learned to despise them. But this is a very special time of year for everybody. And, the one thing I am thankful for is those of you that are my friends that actually build these airplanes and actually have been part of this journey that we're doing here. I just want to say that we found a common ground. We found a way to be friends, and a lot of us are from parts of the world that just don't seem to like each other too much. But we found a common ground. And through that, and if everybody ever learned how to actually learn how to coexist and show the respect we all do for each other as builders and modelers, I just think that the world would be a wonderful and a most awesome place to be. And it doesn't have to be with 3 model airplanes. It could be through anything, whether it be music, fashions, anything. The world just needs to find a common ground. And with that, I'll leave you guys with a very hearty Merry Christmas, the best of New Year's, and the most happiest part of your life. I hope that you guys can be half as happy as I really actually am. And, I don't mean that to say I wish you were that. I wish you all the best of joys and happiness, no matter where you are. And from the Dahlgren family, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you in the funny papers.